Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel, and today's lesson we're doing chapters 25 and 26 in the book of 1Chronicles. If you're new to this, is the Bible study channel going through the King James Bible, not skipping anything as scriptures command. So if you would, like, subscribe, and share this content, and let's get started. So last we left off, David, appointed Solomon king, and so then they went in scripture talking about the priests, their descendants from Levi, down to Aaron and Moses, down to where we're at right now in the scriptures. And so that's where we left off at, just doing some more lineage stuff. We only have 2 more lessons in this book. Have today and the next one. So I think, there's only 29 chapters in 1Chronicles. So let's go ahead and jump right on in here. Chapter 25, verse 1. Moreover, David and the captains of the host separated to the service of the sons of Asaph, and of Heman, and of Jeduthun, who should prophesy with harps, with psalteries, and with cymbals, and the number of the workmen according to their service was. So when David was king, he set all this stuff up and helped, go from the tabernacle to doing temples. The main temple, the house of the Lord, has not been built yet, but they went from tents to actual structures, buildings, and so on. And so the Levites were divided up more. Like I said, last lesson was talking about this. Some sang all day, played instruments all day for the Lord. They prepared food all day. They was busy from sun up to sundown all day long with the Lord. So Levites were quite busy, and they were provided for by the people. That's what God commanded. And so they didn't have inheritance in the land. They didn't. They did some crops or whatever, some livestock, because that's how they were given donations, and they didn't have deep freezers and processing plants and stuff back then. So, anyways, let's continue on here. 25 verse 2. Of the sons of Asaph, Zachar and Joseph and Nethaniah and Azarela. That A in there just messing me up. Yes, I thought it was Azarela. My dyslexia said, forget it. Move on. The sons of Asaph, under the hands of Asaph, which prophesied according to the order of the king. Of Jeduthun, the sons of Jeduthun, Gedaliah and Zerai and Jeshaiah, Hashabiah, and Mattithiah. They like that Aya name at the end of it. I don't know why, the Aya part, but everybody said just leave the H off of it and just be Mattithi. But it's Aya. Because they had to have that H there. Anyways, 6. Under the hands of their father Jeduthun, who prophesied with the harp to give thanks and to praise the Lord. Of Heman, the sons of Heman, Bechiah and Mattaniah, Uzziel, Shebuel, and Jeremoth, Hanani, Eliathah, Gadaltai. Boy, they must have had a real fun way of saying names. Gadaltai. And Romantai Ezer. I'm going to brutalize a lot of these names, so we're back with saying names right now. So let's just get on through it. Josh Bekasha, Malathi, Hatir, and Mahaziah. All of these were the sons of Heman, the king's seer in the words of God, to lift up the horn, and God gave to Heman 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these were under the hands of their father for song in the house of the Lord, with cymbals, psalteries, and harps, for the service of the house of God, according to the king's order to Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman. So the number of them with their brethren that were instructed in the songs of the Lord, even all that were cunning, was 268. And they cast lots ward against ward, as well the small as the great, the teacher as the scholar. Now the first lot came forth for Asaph to Joseph, the second to Gedaliah, who with his brethren and sons were 12. The third to Zachar, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The fourth to Izri, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The fifth to Nethaniah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The sixth to Bechiah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The seventh to Jeshurila, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The eighth to Jeshaiah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. So we're saying he, his sons, and his brethren were 12, are talking about there's 12 musicians in, let's say it's going to be 25 divisions of 12 musicians. And that's what the Levites are. These are talking about the musicians part. And so there's exactly 12 musicians and 24 divisions. 24 groups of 12, and they played music for the Lord. That's what we're talking about here. If it's a little confusing, but that's okay. Let's continue on here. Verse 16. The ninth to Mattaniah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 10th to Shimei, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 11th to Azareel, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 12th to Hashabiah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 13th to Shubael, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 14th to Mattaniah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 15th to Jeremoth, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 16th to Hananiah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 17th to Joshbekashah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 18th to Hananiah, it's not Niah, it's Hanani, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 19th to Malathi, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 20th to Eliathah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 21st to Hothir, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 22nd to Gedalti, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 23rd to Maaziah, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. The 24th to Ramatai-Ezer, he, his sons, and his brethren were 12. Chapter 26. Concerning the divisions of the porters of the Korhites was Meshelemiah. Yeah, let's go with that one. Meshelemiah. That's about the easiest way I can probably say that one. The son of Korah, of the sons of Asaph. So here we're talking about porters now. So we have musicians, and now we get porters. Now, porters are known as doorkeepers, guards, stuff of that nature. So, if we don't remember what porters are, but that's what porters are. Where did I leave off at? All right, if I already did 2, I'm redoing 2 because for something else. No, I didn't do 2 yet. I would remember saying all those names. Anyways. And the sons of Meshelemiah were Zechariah, the firstborn, Jediel, the second, Zebediah, the third, Jethaniel, the fourth, Elam, the fifth, Johanan, the sixth, Elioenai, what a name, Elioenai. Once you get used to saying it, it's not that bad, Elioenai. See, it's not that bad now, but first trying to make it make sense, it's complicated. The seventh, verse 4. Moreover, the sons of Obed-Edom were Shemaiah, the firstborn, Jehozabad, the second, Joah, the third, and Sakar, the fourth, and Nethaniel, the fifth. Amiel, the sixth, Issachar, the seventh, Pulthai, the eighth. I think that's how you would say that. Pulthai? Pulthai? That's the only time when the AI actually makes sense. Pulthai. All the other times, it's actually normally pronounced just an I. It got I, but then AI is normally just an I, but let's just keep it going the way the normal tradition is just an I. Pulthai, the eighth, for God blessed him. Also unto Shemaiah, his son were sons born, that ruled throughout the house of their father, for they were mighty men of valor. The sons of Shemaiah, Othni, and Rephiel, and Obed, Elzabad, whose brethren were strong men, Elihu, and Shemachiah. All these of the sons of Obed-Edom, they and their sons and their brethren, able men for strength for the service, were 62 of Obed-Edom. So here the number is 62. A score is 20, so 3 scores, 3 times 20, that's 60, and 2, so 62. So between the sons and the brethren, 62 of Obed-Edom. Verse 9. And Meshelemiah had sons and brethren, strong men, 18. Also Hosea of the children of Merari had sons, Simri the chief, for though he was not the firstborn, yet his father made him the chief. So this is where we know that there is traditions. Normally the firstborn gets everything unless they're not worthy. Unless it's going to be given to someone else because they're more worthy of it. But normally it does go to the firstborn, as long as the firstborn understands their responsibility as being the firstborn, to be the next head of house and to, make sure that they are adequate for that position, to hold themselves to a higher standard, because they're the next in charge, supposed to be. And if you want that, then you must, make sure you have, the stature for it, I guess, to the easiest way to say it. But a lot of people, they just want to just throw stuff away and do what they want to do, and they don't care about tradition or anything else, and then they're all what we call butthurt today. If they don't get what's like, wait, this is owed me. It's like, no, you have to earn it. It's like it's initially in your title as being firstborn, but you still have to earn it. It's not an automatic given, not from a wise parent anyways. But anyways, continue on here. Verse 11. Also, this could happen for favoritism, even though if the firstborn should get it and had the stature of it and held themselves in according to be that position, but then the parent had a favorite and says, I'm going to give it to this one instead, the spoiled brat. That would happen from time to time too. But normally it goes to the firstborn, is what God kind of teaches with that. That even today no longer happens, because now they think, well, every child's supposed to get an inheritance part of the inheritance or this, that, and the other. And that's not how it was supposed to go. I mean, you would kind of get part of it, but it had to stay with the family. It's like normally you got, a farm. The farm would go to the elder, and then everyone else that wanted to still live on the farm or work on the farm, the elder made sure that there was a place for them as being family. But a lot of people didn't want that hard life. Anyways, so now it's just like everybody's expecting to get something. And it's like, we shouldn't be that way, but a lot of people are. I have family myself that is that way. They're worried about what they're going to get when someone passes away. And I'm like, why? I never understood it. I'd rather have the relative still alive, but I don't know. Some people always look at stuff like that. Now, if there's going to be one, I say be fair with it, and be just. I don't understand people just, desiring that. But we have them. Anyways, verse 11. Hilkiah the second, Tebaliah the third, Zechariah the fourth, all the sons and brethren of Hosea were 13. Among these were the divisions of the porters, even among the chief men having wards one against another to minister to the house of the Lord. And they cast lots as well, the small as the great, according to the house of their fathers, for every gate. So these people stood at these gates at all times and protected the doors. I don't think they really had locks on their doors then. You had guards to protect the doors. If they say you're not going in, you're not going in. So they would more than likely have to post guard 24/7. At all times, someone was guarding the doors. They also opened the doors. When people were coming to these areas that were allowed to go, they would open the doors, let them in, and then they would close the doors, then stand guard. So, this was a job. And people did their jobs. It's, for some people says that's a very small job. Says, yeah, but it's a very stressful one too. Being a guardsman, a doorkeeper, a keeper of the gates of the cities. Say you had a gate before the temple. They had to keep that and guard it. Anyways, you get the idea. Let's continue on to 14. And the lot eastward fell to Shemaliah. Then for Zechariah his son, a wise counselor, they cast lots, and his lot came out northward. So here's like rolling the dice. Casting lots, you roll the dice. Okay, who gets what? Okay, you and your, son or whatever, your tribe, you get this area to be porters at. Here, you get this area. That's what they're doing here. So it's either like drawing names, casting lots, rolling dice, something of that nature. Flipping a coin could be it, whatever. There's many ways of doing it. I don't know exactly how they did it. It just says cast lots. And it was a form of gambling. It was, a toss-up to see who got what. But this wasn't for profit. This was for positions. Anyways, 15. To Obed-Edom southward, and to his sons the house of Asupim. To Shupim, and see, that don't make no sense. Obed-Edom and his house got the house of Asupim. Then you have someone named Shuppim. It should have been automatic. To Shuppim gets Asupim. Why not? That would have made sense. That's what my brain's saying, but, it was casting lots. Anyways, continue on here. And Hosea, the lot came forth westward with the gate Sheleketh, good enough, by the causeway of the going up ward against ward. Eastward were 6 Levites, northward 4 a day, southward 4 a day, and toward Asupim 2 and 2. At Parbar westward 4 at the causeway, and 2 at Parbar. These are the divisions of the porters among the house of Korah and among the sons of Merari. And of the Levites, Ahijah was over the treasures of the house of God and over the treasures of the dedicated things. So I guess Ahijah was the treasury. He was over the treasure, over all the valuable things. 21. As concerning the sons of Laodan, the sons of the Gershonite Laodan, chief fathers even of Laodan, the Gershonite, were Jehieli. The sons of Jehieli, Zetham and Joel his brother, which were over the treasures of the house of the Lord. Of the Amramites and the Isharites, the Hebronites and the Uzzielites. And Shebuel, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, was ruler of the treasures. So, as I said, Moses' sons, they wouldn't be alive at the time of King David, but these were the things being appointed at the times then, when they were alive. But yeah. So it being like the third generation from Moses was the ruler of the treasures. So their sons did stay with the land, with the people. Mostly it talked about that some of them, I think the wife, you didn't hear about the wife too much afterward, but it's like, you know, the father-in-law went back to Ethiopia. I think some of the family went back with him. I'm not too sure. I'd have to go all the way back reading about Moses and this time when his father-in-law wanted to go back to Ethiopia and this, that, and the other. But, so of course his children stayed. So there's descendants of Moses out there. You know, he's part of the tribe of Levi too. But moving on from that, you don't hear too much about the descendants of, because they don't hold a candle to to Moses himself. But their names pop up here and there a little bit from time to time. But anyways, 25. And his brethren by Eleazar, Rehabiah his son, and Jeshaiah his son, and Joram his son, and Zachari his son, and Shelemith his son, which Shelemith and his brethren were over all the treasures of the dedicated things which David the king and the chief fathers, the captains over thousands and hundreds, and the captains of the host had dedicated. I know we are more than just 3 generations from King David. So when it goes back here talking about, you know, Shebuel, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, that's 3 generations down, was rulers of treasures. So here you just keep going, and it eventually leads to the people at this time. But yeah, of who ended up with the job at the end, well, according to the book at the time. 27. Out of the spoils won the battles did they dedicate to maintain the house of the Lord, and all that Samuel the seer, and Saul the son of Kish, and Abner the son of Ner, and Joab the son of Zeruiah had dedicated, and whosoever had dedicated anything, it was under the hand of Shelemith and of his brethren. So here we're talking about, you know, David the king, but before that, you had Samuel and Saul. Saul was king, then he had, you know, the son of, and Abner, the son of, and Ner, and Joab, the son of, you know, talking about people at that time. So here the Chronicles is just giving, you know, who was appointed by who, at what time, this, that, and the other. So it does get a little confusing because it bounces around, because we had King David here, we have Moses, this other section, then I got talking about, King Saul here. But they don't call him King Saul much. He's like, he lost his kingdom. Even though he stayed king, he lost it to David. And then he tried to kill David so he could keep the kingdom. So, Saul went down a very dark path, and I hope he got right with the God beforehand, but I don't know if he did or didn't. That's between him and God. Same thing as King Solomon. Anyways, verse 29. Of the Israelites, Kenaniah and his sons were for the outward business over Israel, for officers and judges. And of the Hebronites, Hashabiah and his brethren, men of valor, 1,700, were officers among them of Israel, of this side Jordan, westward, in all the business of the Lord, and in the service of the king. Among the Hebronites was Jerijah. I wonder if it'd be Jerijah sounds better. The chief. Even among the Hebronites, according to the generations of his fathers, in the 40th year of the reign of David, they were sought for, and there were found among them mighty men of valor at Gezer and Gilead. And his brethren, men of valor, were 2,700 chief fathers, whom King David made rulers over the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, for every matter pertaining to God and affairs of the king. And that's the end of this lesson today. So once again, we went over some names, their positions, job titles, such and, So it wasn't much of a lesson in there, not too many more details and stuff we already kind of knew about or that really pertains to main stories. But a lot of this stuff is for the Israelites themselves, the descendants thereof, to know where they come from. Stuff of that nature. Anyways, don't forget to pray. Who do you pray for? Everyone. What do you pray for? Everything. All people, all nations, everywhere, everything, the lost, the found, yourself, others, all of it. There's always something to pray about. We just had a senator pass away. As far as I remember, Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. He supported taxation, which is extortion, forced taxation. Had to pray for his soul. From the way he lived his life, he called himself one thing but lived another. I don't see him being right with God, but that's between him and God. His life didn't show it. His beliefs didn't show it. I'm pretty sure people close to him, he fooled them and stuff, but, from what we would hear about him as a politician in America, not good. Not with God anyways, but I don't pray for hell for anybody because I don't want it myself. I want all to come to the Lord and, get into heaven. Like I said, though, I don't know him personally. I just know of a lot of his actions, how he voted, what he believed as a politician, and it was not good. He believed in war. He believed in taxes. He believed in corruption. He was what we call a rhino on the Republican side, Republican in name only. But regardless, you just have to pray for his family. They lost him. Elections are coming up. He was running again as far as I know. Now they're going to have to replace him. So let's pray we get a real Christian in there that's going to do godly things and start putting this country of America back on the pathway of Jesus instead of Satan. Add that to your prayer list. And never forget to ask for double portion. Don't forget to put God first in everything. Always commune with Him before you make decisions. And give God all praise, glory, and worship, and thanks in everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. So, that's the end of this lesson here today. So until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.